Today, we're going to get into a network that I think is one of the 3 to 5 networks that everything else will be built on top of, and that is Hedera Hashgraph. So what is Hedera Hashgraph? Who's the company behind it? Who are the partners and people that are involved with it? What use cases are going to be built out of the network? And then, what is the potential price appreciation of the network if everything works out like I think it's going to? Hashgraph is very similar to blockchain, except it utilizes an acyclic graph in order to be faster, more efficient, and more secure than what blockchain can offer. I think that most Web3 applications that are interoperable with the majority of Web2 companies will end up being built out on this. The data and the messaging that this allows ends up being much more secure than just a blockchain. And because of the way the consensus algorithm works, it's also a better solution for digital identity and protecting your own data. So that's why I think it'll end up being one of the major players long-term and one of the main networks everything else is built out on. So what's the company that's behind Hedera Hashgraph? Well, it's Hedera. So back in 2014, you have Dr. Bird and Mr. Harmon. They came together. They've been business partners and friends for a long time. They formed a company called Swirl in 2015, 2016. And that's actually what they used to raise the capital for the development of the network. So they had Swirled. They ended up forming Hedera, the company. Both of these companies are formed here in Dallas, Texas, where I am. Anyway, so Swirled raises the capital for the seed round. They bootstrap the development. They launch Hedera. August 24th of 2018, they mint the 50 billion supply of Hedera. They have an ICO where they only sell to accredited investors and institutions, which I think shouldn't be a problem. But even if it is, it's, been 5 years, more than 5 years past then. So the statute of limitations shouldn't allow the SEC to come after them. So this should be good at this point. But they went to market after that, and they've had a lot of iterations up to today. I want to touch on the partnerships, right? So I mentioned that in the beginning, and that's another reason I think Hedera will be one of the giants and mainstays long-term for the networks that things are scaled on top of. So right now, they have 30 of the 39 seats available on the governing council field. So there's still 9 more companies. Maybe we could speculate and say Tesla or SpaceX or some of these other giants in the space might step in here, but they already have Google, they already have LG, they have IBM, they have Dell, they have FIS, they have Boeing, they have Standard Bank, and there's other very large players on the council as well. And it's not like they're just here in the United States. There's international buy-in for this network. There's people from Sydney, Australia, the UK, Singapore, you name it. Any large developed nation has a company with some vested interest here in this network where they're developing solutions, and the efficiencies and scalability of this network, just because of the way it's been built and those that are involved with it, almost second to none. So there are many applications that have already been built out on this network. People that are pioneering solutions in different verticals with the smart contracts and the capabilities that are inherent to it. So we'll get into some of those. Healthcare is a huge one. You have to be HIPAA compliant, and the way that the data has to be distributed and stored, it's imperative that it's extremely secure. And so that's why, for healthcare in particular, I think Hedera Hashgraph has a significant edge. The main company that is driving that innovation on the network is Intiva Health. And they have a DApp where you're able to store, share medical data across the world. We've talked about this in other videos, but if there's not a standard way to organize data as you're passing it between one party and another, it's not interoperable. So there's that application. We've also got Red Swan, which is tokenizing real estate on Hedera's network. A huge market there, right? Trillions of dollars that could be brought onto the network over the next decade as more tokenization happens. It's interesting to me that they're doing that against the physical item or the physical location, tokenizing that, creating a title against it, and then allowing for fractionalized ownership. I have my own opinions on whether that's scalable or not on the current guidelines and regulations here in the US, but nonetheless, I think it's a great application and likely something that will be built out on the network long term. The other thing I do want to mention about Hedera that makes it different than a lot of other networks I've seen is the fee structure on the network. So the fees on the network are fixed in a dollar denomination. So a lot of other networks may utilize the token for payment, which Hedera does, but the fees fluctuate with the value of the token. So it's a percentage of the token or it's denominated in the token, whereas the fees here on Hedera Hashgraph are denominated in dollars. And so even if you had appreciation in the price of the token, the fees remain fixed on the network, which I think is imperative to be able to scale and grow long term without causing, inflation of costs when people are utilizing the protocol. Some of the other things that I thought were interesting that are being developed on this network, Crypto Task, which is like the Fiverr of Web3. It allows people to create a marketplace where they can hire somebody to do small tasks for them. So a lot of really cool dApps being built on this network already. And I think that will continue, especially with, the people that are sitting on the governing council. There's going to be a lot more that comes to this network. These large corporations and enterprises are going to be leveraging this technology within their own infrastructure and also for the products that they're building. The other cool thing about the council is that you can only serve 2 terms as a member of the council, and each one of those terms is 3 years. People can only stay on there for a certain period of time. I think that's invaluable in again, scaling the network and providing a fair way that things can be governed. What's the potential price for Hedera Hashgraph in the long term if they are successful in executing on their vision and building out this decentralized network and continue to bring on powerhouses for the governing council? So today, Hedera Hashgraph has a value of about 7 cents. It's a bit more than 7 cents. And the 24-hour trading volume is a little over 25 million. So still pretty nascent, even with the promise of the network and the people that are involved with it. I think that, just personally, again, nothing here is ever financial advice. Always consult with your financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Everything shared here is for entertainment and educational purposes only. In comparison to the people that are involved with this network and the potential use cases for the volume that could be transacted over this network, I think it's significantly undervalued and will perform very well over the next 3, 5, 10 years as more and more use cases are developed and this network is used. Short-term goals, we saw a high of almost 14 cents in the last bull run for Hedera, and obviously it's pulled back since then. It got all the way back down to a little below 4 cents, and now we're back up, like I said, a little over 7 cents today. At the token launch, it fell down pretty hard. I got in Hedera closer to the bottom in 2020 and rode it up for the last bull run, which was great. Long-term price prediction, I think easily single-digit dollars, potentially double-digit dollars is completely realistic as more things are built out on the network. And again, more volume drives people utilizing the token to pay the fees. Could it get to 3 digits someday? Potentially. I'm not saying that that's a likelihood, but I think that single digits and double digits in dollars is very likely for this network if it achieves its goals and continues to build and scale like they are. Hopefully this has been valuable for you. If it haven't, liked and subscribed, we would love to have you do so. If you have anything that you think could add to the conversation, please put it in the comments below, and we will see you guys on the next one.